What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel again, and in today's video we will learn how you can create Flutter bottom navigation inside Flutter. And this is the today's agenda, that we will refactor our code to navigate to the particular screens. As you can see right now, in the up till last video we have seen that how you can navigate to this my simple dialog, and as you can see on the list tile we are navigating to my simple dialog. So the code written inside on tab, you will see on every item we are navigating to my simple dialog screen, so which is not right. Yeah, so we want to navigate to the particular screen. Like if we are tapping on bottom navigation, we will create this bottom navigation screen in today's video, and in future videos we will create how you can create this custom floating action button screen here and something like that. So we will navigate our code so that we can check that on which index or item of list view is being tapped. So we will navigate to that particular screen accordingly. So this is our today's agenda, and we will see how you can create UI for bottom navigation, and you can define the contents. Let me show you the screenshots which we want to uh, achieve. Here you can see the bottom navigation. On tapping on each tab or each item of bottom navigation, we will show the contents accordingly. So this is our recent list, and this will be our favorite list. So it's a nice grid view with some effects, material effects. So guys, this is my GitHub page, Flutter Design Learning, and it is a complete project which I am creating tutorials right now. So if you want that complete project, you can navigate to this link, which I have put in the description section as well. You can download and clone this project as well. And if you want to move with me step by step, I am creating the same with Flutter tutorial series and updating my code day by day. So this is my page on Facebook, Let's Mobile Development, and make sure you give it a thumbs up and like this page, and also subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that in future you will get the notification for my latest videos. So let's jump into the code, and we will navigate our code a little bit very quickly so that we can see. On tapping on each item, we will navigate to that particular screen, or if we want to do nothing, we will just print out the just use the print statement. So we will create a method void navigate to page. We will call this. It will take build context, and it will have integer type index for that particular list item. So in it we will use something like switch case, which is very easy and almost being used by every programming language. So we check on index, that on which index you are tapping. So for 0th index, we will move this to simple dialog, which we are already done in the last video on tap of the list tile. So for 0th element, we will move to my simple dialog. So this is very simple. So for case 1, we will just printing that, because in later video we will show this custom floating button, that how you can create custom floating button, and the built-in floating button, how it displays. So this is very easy. So right now we will just print out custom floating button. We will navigate in future here. So for case 2, if you are tap on index 2, right now I'm creating this because this is a static list and we don't have any dynamic data, like fetching from HTTP or fetching from any APIs, web services. So we will see all those as well in later videos, but for now we have this static list, and we want that on tap of each item we want to know which index we pressed, and we will navigate to that particular screen accordingly. So for case 2 we have this bottom navigation, which is the today's agenda. So we will paste the same code, and we will write my bottom nav, something like that, and we will not handling any other cases. Default is as it is. So let's save it. Now we want to call that function here. We will return directly, or you can say we will directly use this function navigate to page, and we don't need this because we are calling directly this page. Okay, so we can pass something like that. Sorry, I forgot to make it a function like that. So if you hit save, now you click on simple dialog. Oh, it's not navigating, so we have to pass this. Let's pause context and index as well. So let's hit save, and now you tap on simple dialog. You can see on 0th location we have this simple dialog, and if you tap on bottom navigation it will crash because we didn't have any route defined for bottom navigation. So first we will define the route for bottom navigation. If you don't know what routing and navigation is, you can see one of my previous videos in which I have explained that how you can define your screens with this route thing. So for my navigation, my bottom navigation, we will define my bottom nav as a route, and it will take a build context, and it will return my nav. So something like that. We will create this my bottom nav inside the screens folder. So let's create it quickly. My bottom nav dot, and inside that we will first import material dart, and we will create for my bottom navigation, let's create a stateless widget for now because we would need stateful widget here. So in this video you will learn how we need that stateful widget in order to create this my bottom navigation. So we will learn it in a bit. So let's create a scaffold, so which is very basic thing in every screen. We want to display an app bar. An app bar, inside that app bar we want to display the title, which would be a text, and inside that text we will write like my bottom nav, something like that. And for body we are displaying nothing but just a center widget with a single child, sorry, of text component, and we will say my bottom nav screen, and we will replace this center or text with something like our bottom navigation thing. So we will save it, and we will import this bottom navigation. Now we have created this, and as soon as you will hit save on index 2, you will see that we are navigating to this bottom navigation screen because we have already defined inside that routes. So tap on bottom navigation. As you can see, this is our newly created screen, bottom navigation, and we want to achieve something like this one, that we will create this bottom navigation and contents for each bottom navigation item. So let's quickly jump into the bottom navigation, and we will see how you can define this bottom navigation screen. So nothing fancy till now. We just need to convert this bottom navigation screen to stateful widget. I will give you the reason from time to time, because for now we will just convert it into stateful widget. So there is a shortcut. You can see if you click on it, there is a light bulb displaying here, or for shortcut you can use command and dot in Mac OS. So this option will showed up that convert to stateful widget, and if you are on stateful widget, maybe it will display the stateless widget option. No, you have to create stateless on your own. But if you are on stateless widget, you can jump over here and convert it into stateful widget. So now this bottom navigation is our stateful widget. So you would hit save. You see my bottom navigation is not a subtype of stateless widget. This is because if you changing the state on the whole, you have to restart your application at least once. So we were previously displayed the stateless widget for bottom navigation screen, but now we have converted it into a stateful widget, so that now we have to restart our application at least once. So after restarting, you will see our home page, and now if you click on bottom navigation, you see this is bottom navigation screen with stateful widget. Now inside a stateful widget, what we can do, we can change the state of our screen according to some user interactions, and we will display, or we can change the values or variables according to the requirements, and change the state, and it will automatically uh, display that change on our screen. So let um, jump into the code, and we will see how you can create the bottom navigation. So for the body part, let me define something like our the built-in widget, which is called bottom navigation. So first, before defining that bottom navigation, uh, we will define the body something like bottom nav contents. So this is our as you can see on the screen, the white area is the contents for that bottom navigation. So we will create this bottom navigation contents, and on the bottom of that screen we will ask scaffold to display a bottom navigation bar for us. So we would also need to display bottom navigation bar. So this property is built in with inside scaffold. So we can use bottom navigation and bunch of other properties inside scaffold, like you can use the floating action button and material side drawer, and there are other bunch of properties you can use inside scaffold. So the one of the properties is called as bottom navigation bar, and for its value we can create a function something like my bottom nav. So we don't want to mess up our code inside this scaffold, so we will create this function, and that function will return a widget, and that widget would be our bottom navigation. So first we will create our this function my bottom nav. We can say my bottom nav bar, something like that. So we will copy this, and we will create that function above that build folder, build function, sorry. So let's create that function. So it will return a widget, and we name that function, and after that it will return something like a built-in widget, which is called bottom navigation bar. As you can see, it is defined already inside material.dart. So you can simply use it, just put a semicolon at the end. So we need to define some other things as well. So this is our state this is our state class for the bottom navigation. So we can define some variables here inside that class. So we'll define int integer type, and which is the private current index, and we call that current index initially to 0. So for bottom navigation bar, there is a property called current index, and we can assign our current index, which we have just defined over. Okay, so this is not very difficult to use. So fixed color, so we will define fixed color for the bottom navigation, so which is again colors.teal, as we have our overall base theme of our allocation is teal color. So next thing we want to define on tap, and on tap of each item we will define a simple function here. Let's suppose we call it on tap um, bottom nav item. This is simple. So we will just define our uh, on tap function. On tap, let me copy this and paste it, and it will accept the index. And now here is the point that if you are using stateful widget, you can easily call a built-in method which is called set state. So this is the set state method. So inside that set state, whatever the variables value or other objects values you want to change, you can change inside here. So on tapping on each bottom navigation bar, you have to define that what is your new index on which you just tapped. So that new index will receive here in this function, and we will say our current index will change to that index. And we are defining this inside set state so that wherever this current index is being used, it is automatically reflect our changes and change the state. So you will see the output in a bit, so don't worry about that. So after defining the on tap, we have to define the items for our bottom navigation. So for items, we will use bottom navigation bar item. That is our widget, which is already defined again. So we will use this widget, and inside that widget we will define some kind of icon property. And for icon we will use icon and icons dot, let's say we want to display a star, because that star is displayed as our favorites. And bottom of that icon we will need to display our label, which is called as title inside this bottom navigation bar item. So this is very easy to describe. So we want to display a text, and now we will define, let's say for the first item we need to define our favorite is. That's cool. So this is our first item already defined. We will need to copy this so that we will save some time, and paste two more times. And instead of star icon we need to use, let's say, excess time. I think that is the icon we are using here as well, so that's good. So we need to ask the test for text, we will say resets. So for the third one we are using something like contact phone, and that is the icon we are using here as well. And for the title we will say contacts. So this is my bottom navigation bar, which is uh, defined as a function, and inside that function we are returning the bottom navigation bar with all of the three items here. So inside that scaffold we are giving this property, and we are passing our function. So now we need to define this bottom navigation contents for each item. So how you can define that? We can simply use a stateless widget and we can define these contents. So we don't want to mess up again inside that build folder. So we have to define it in a separate class. Let's say we can say we need to define stateless widget, and we can say just need to copy this and paste it right here. So these are our bottom navigation content. Whatever we are returning inside this build folder, that would be our bottom navigation contents. And we will check that, and we will gonna make sure that we will pass the particular index, so that we can check that on which index the bottom navigation user has tapped. So so for that particular index we will display the particular index, particular contents, sorry. So we need to pass index, and for index we will say whatever we have inside our current index we will pass this. So it is giving us error because this is our customized stateless widget class, and we are not receiving this index as well. So first we will define, we need to receive that index. We will say final int index, and we will define constructor for bottom navigation contents, and we will say index, sorry, we will just say this dot index to receive that particular index. Now you will see the error has been gone. So we have just returning the empty container, but what we can say inside that container, we can use this child property and center, and inside that center we use child, and we will create a new function here, nav bar contents. So again, I'm following this best practice because each time you want to display something, your widget tree gonna be something like this, and it is um, hard to read if you are messing up all your code inside a single function. So you have to define all of your widgets as a separate functions, or maybe as a separate whole class, so it will be a lot easier for anyone who can read and understand your code easily. So I am creating these functions, so just to make sure that you gonna you are going to adopt this habit to display your to write your code more neatly and cleanly. So that is my agenda as well. So for navbar contents function, we will pass that particular index and context, and after that we will define this function after this build folder, and we will say it will return a widget, and it will take integer type index and our build context like that. So we will again use the switch case statement here, which is again very simple. We will apply we will check on index value, that on which index bottom navigation user has tapped. So for 0 we will return, let's say we will return favorite list. So this favorite list will be our new screen we can create inside that screens folder. So that would be our new screen which we will create. So first let's just create that screen. We will say favorite list dot dart. Okay, so we'll import material. Now at this point you will be habitual, and I am also habitual of writing this code very quickly. So let's create a stateless widget. We will call it favorite list. So inside that favorite list we will just returning a container right now, and for that we can use child center, and again we will say a text component, and we'll say favorite list contents. Okay, so we will just need to import this favorite list, and boom. So for the next case we will say, so we only defined three bottom navigations: favorite is, recents, and contents. So we would have three cases here only. So for case 0, case 1, and case 2. So let's say for case 1 we have something like recents. So instead of favorite list we will say recent list, and we will define that recent list inside the screens, something like that, and import material dot dart, and for that we will use stateless widget, and this is our favorite list. So yeah, so for that we can copy this container, and we can uh, paste it here as well, and we'll, instead of favorite we'll say recent list contents. Alright, so we'll just need to import that as well, and last one would be our um, the third one is contacts. So for contacts I am using the same recent list for now, because recent list is something like similar to the contacts list. So I am displaying right here. If you want to define your own, you can define here as well. So this is our case 2. So let's save it, and for bottom navigation contents, what the error has been saying is no problem. So bottom navigation contents, okay, so we have defined the bottom navigation contents, our bottom navigation bar, and okay, so these are our recent and favorite list as well. So as you can see, our bottom navigation has been displayed successfully. So by default it has selected the current index 0. So as soon as I will tap any of the other indexes, it will call this on tap method. It will take that particular index and change the current index to that index and setting our state. As soon as set state method calls, that current index will reflect and rebuild this whole function or whole build method for that particular current index. So let's say if I click on recent, you can see that recent list contents defined inside recents, and for contacts it is the same recent list which we have defined here. So it is the same recent list. For favorites, if you click back favorites, it is saying favorite list contents. So this is how you can create bottom navigation very easily. So inside the contents for bottom navigation, I will create next video, and stay tuned for my next video in which I will create the whole recent and favorites list like you are seeing here on your screen. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. Thank you very much and stay safe.